Hi guys, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. So
Hey,
just to start, we talked a lot when season one was coming out about how much it leans on sci-fi and like the love of sci-fi. And so what for you guys was your favorite kind of sci-fi element that you got to include in season two that you didn't necessarily get to include in season one?
Well, we get to go to some planets, which is a big one, and we'll encounter some other ships also this time.
yeah, also I think, in season one, it was so driven to get to this one planet and the ship was falling apart and they didn't have food and
Mhm.
it was a little bit of a disaster movie every single week. And this season we really get to explore some different sci-fi ideas and concepts that are surprising, are fun, and I think it really enlarges the kinds of storytelling we get to do on this show, and it really shows that really it's endless, the possibilities.
Yeah, and Christy, in season one we get to see you come in like become kind of a leader, a de facto leader, as it were. And now that she kind of has that season under her belt, what for you is the most exciting part about coming back this season?
I guess like the stories that we tell this season are so incredible and surprising and shocking. And I at one point chucked many scripts across my hotel room being like, I can't believe it. So I'm excited for that. I also was really excited to see Garnett have relationships. I think in season one, like Dean was saying, because it was so disaster orientated, like we only really got to see Garnett dealing with that, where now I think we get to, and dealing, of course, with Lane and his annoyance of not stepping in line, you know what I'm saying? But now we get to see her like have relationships because she cares now. She's part of a family. And we get to see her like potentially fall in love and, be a human, which is like the most exciting thing.
Yeah, and you guys, what last time we talked, fans hadn't seen anything. So now that people have seen the first season, they've reacted to it. What for you all has been your favorite response from like people getting to see the show and go on the journey with these characters?
For me, I love how much they love the characters. Um, so many times you'll a science fiction show, people will be commenting on how cool the ship is, or and in our case, it's much more about the people and the characters, which I think is what gives a show longevity, and um, I'm glad they're relating to them.
Yeah, I always get messages about like, is Angus alive? Do him and Stacy end up together? Are you gonna date Lane eventually? Like it's always like entrenched in connection and relationship, like Jonathan said. And I always am like, haha, I love that I know the answer, you know? So that.
You're like, I have the book and I have all of the answers, but none of you will get to know.
Exactly.
Um, but with now, like now that your freshman season is done, you get to kind of not relax because it is, like you said, you're going to different planets and the show is getting much bigger. Does does going into season two make you guys feel calmer because like, all right, well, people know what this show is, they know what we're kind of getting into, or does it make you stressed out because you have to kind of keep them engaged in what you're doing?
The latter, not so much because I have to keep them engaged, but I don't want to let them down. We've got these fans. I don't want to and give them crap. I want them to like what we give them.
Yeah, I mean, you feel a responsibility.
Mhm.
I don't think I mean, we all were hoping that our show would do well, but I don't think any of us thought it would do as well as it did.
Mhm.
And when you get that kind of overwhelming response that this many people are watching the show and that they're being so engaged with it and talking about it on Reddit and everywhere else, and you feel like, okay, well, we owe it to them. We got to step up our game. We got to bring up everything. We got to tell stories that they're not expecting. We got to take the characters places you're not expecting. We have to do better special effects. We have to go to other planets. We got, we have to introduce things that surprise this audience because they deserve it.
Mhm. Yeah, I completely agree. And also, with any good sci-fi show, you end up seeing people inevitably making their own fan art and or cosplaying and doing all of that kind of stuff. Have you guys seen that for the arc? And if so, do you have favorites?
Man.
I've
Well,
seen
we
all the fan
produce.
art. I haven't seen any cosplay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we do this after show on Electric Now, called After the Arc, and part of it is we encourage people to send their fan art in, and it's always one of my favorite parts of the show is seeing what people have sent in, whether it's a macrame pillow with somebody's face on it, or just the drawings or little stuffies. I mean, it's always so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like on Instagram when they make these like like I've seen one of me and Lane and it's like they're like putting us together and I'm always like, ugh.
So you're telling me you haven't gone on AO3 to read the fan fiction for
No. You need to send me a link. What is this?
You just gotta go on it. You gotta go look on fan fiction and then you type in the two characters and they'll listen, people will have written it, I'm telling you. It'll
I
be
love
on
the
the
whole
internet.
fan fiction thing.
But for a last question, I do have to ask, it's you're going to all these different plans, as you said, but it is hard whenever someone says you've created something, now pick your favorite, and I recognize that. But do you guys have a favorite planet that you guys got to go to in season 2 that fans will be excited to see?
Yes.
Can you elaborate?
And you're gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got to use some new technology, a very similar technology that they use on The Mandalorian, and it allowed us to create this other planet, in a way that we never could afford to do on a show like this, the budgets we have, and it came out so much better than I had anticipated. So much so that then later, John, I said, "Well, I think we could do this again later in the season," and we did. And it just opens up possibilities for us now.
I can't wait for everyone to get to see it. Thank you guys so much for talking with me for season 2. And yeah, I'm excited. Can't wait for everyone to react to the planets now.
Great job.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, Rachel.
Thank you, Rachel.